Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline. I'm Dave Cokin. It's nice to have you with us again this week, and we're going to be talking basketball. Chip Chirimbes is here. John Cranton's here. Jim Feist will join us with a man-on-the-street spot in a little bit. And before we start anything, we'll let you know what's going on as far as special promotions that are taking place. Also, mention that all of us are in better shape right now than the Philadelphia Phillies, who have $55 million on the disabled list. You believe $55 million in payroll on the DL right now. Utley, Howard, Halladay. I mean, it's just one after another. Sometimes you have a year like that. There's nothing you can do, and it looks like it's happening to the Phillies. All right, not happening to us. Nobody here is on the disabled list. I think we're all fit as a fiddle and ready to go, so let's talk some sports. And we'll start off by getting you updated with what's happening. And, John, why don't you let everybody know what's going on for Jim Feist this week?
Sure. Jim's on a 13-5 run with high roller NBA playoffs. I know everybody's been red hot in the NBA playoffs, and Jim has been sizzling. He won with the Spurs and the over the other night. Did lose on Sunday with the Spurs. Came back with a winner with Miami Monday, and he's stepping up Thursday with his NBA playoff game of the year. It's $45 online. However, if you want to get it for $20 with a guarantee, 1-866-841-1655. And you can call that number now. And also, Jim is going to be by to explain some more details on it, too, with his Man on the Street segment.
I've been a little up and down lately. This is going to happen at some point. I mean, I just was just killing baseball. Even out a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Not doing badly by any means. Make that clear. Not doing badly by any means. Just not winning at the same level I was for about a 7-week period. But it's still good. And the window plays, those have been fine, and that's important because these are big plays. You can check them out online. They're big money plays. These are $500 a piece, and if you go to the website right now, there's today's play is up, and it's $500. Well, not a whole lot of people can buy those. They do get sold. All right, there are people that buy them. So obviously, there are serious players out there who want these games on a daily basis, but they're not for everybody at that price. They are for everybody at this price, $20, and that's a full week, not $20 a day, a full week of my window plays. I'll get you could probably have 6 or 7 during this stretch between basketball and baseball. So you're getting $500 plays for less than $3 a shot, basically. That's something worth checking out. All you need to do is make one phone call, and you're in. 1-866-841-1665, the number to call. That's 1-866-841-1665. And don't forget the free plays. Those have been magnificent for about a 3-month. It's actually been more than it's almost a 4-month run now, hitting right around 65%. A lot of underdogs in baseball that I use as free plays as well. Make the phone call every day. It's on tape. 1-888-712-6800. 1-888-712-6800. Or get them sent to your phone on a text message. Just text Cokin, C-O-K-I-N, to 313131. Chip, I had the Spurs in Game 1, which they should be up 2-0, both straight up in against the spread. They're not, because of 3 3-pointers in the last 16 seconds by Oak City in Game 1. I know you had them as well. That's why you can't win them all in this business, but it was the right side, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I was able to bounce back with Miami in Game 1 and came back with the Spurs in Game 2, so that ups my NBA release record to 20-8 in the last 28 releases. Not bad at all. And Megabucks are still standing fast at 13-5. Those are the top releases, Dave. You know, each and every day, my single strongest play, labeled a Megabuck winner. A special offer to everyone. One entire week of Major League Baseball and Megabuck plays is going to include my NBA parlay of the month and an NBA game of the year for and playoffs action within the week for $20. 1-866-899-9462. Don't miss out. This is a time, like you said, Dave, for everyone to step up, play these games. They're big games. There's big money. Come out and play these games with confidence and be a winner because we are knocking them dead. And like you said, in baseball, you got some big underdogs. I've been trotting right along, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the NBA and early part of Major League Baseball. 866-899-9462. 7 days for only $20.
Okay, and before we get to the Spurs Thunder, I want to answer one question that has nothing to do with gaming, but somebody who watched the videos actually asked me this. He said, how come you look like you're looking off into space when other people are talking? And the answer to that is, the way this is set up, I can see Chip and John on my computer monitor, but the camera is off in a slightly different direction. So when I'm looking at the camera, I can't look at them. Well, if one of them is talking, I'm naturally going to look at them. So I'm not looking off into space, okay? I'm looking at Chip with that Super Bowl shirt and John with the very nice break.
Patriots. Hey, this is a Patriot winner over the Eagles.
Oh,
that we like.
You know, see, it's one of the great things about getting older is that you can dig clothes out of the closet that are like 20 years old, and they're still in style. It's dynamite. I'm thinking of breaking out my corduroy
shirt
next week. It's a great shirt.
You know, as long as the Patriots don't play the Giants in the Super Bowl, they got a chance.
We know that.
Hey, let's look at Game 3 between the Spurs and Thunder, and it's 20 wins in a row now for San Antonio. You know, Oklahoma City's a really good basketball team, but it's kind of tough to get in the way of this freight train right now. I mean, this team Tony Parker is playing at an unbelievable level at point guard. You can have everybody else. Seriously, you can have everybody else who plays that position. I'll take him. The way he's playing right now, this is absolutely incredible. John, what are the Thunder going to have to do to win a game and get back in this series?
Well, you mentioned the key player in this series is Tony Parker. You know, on last week's show, I heard you mentioned that he's the most dynamic and kind of underrated player in the league. Well, what a performance this kid has put on. I would call him the difference maker. That game on Tuesday night, Game 2, look at the first half numbers for Parker. 8 of 11 shooting, 17 points. Oklahoma City just had no answer for him defensively. Everybody's been raving about Westbrook this season. But, boy, give me a guy like Parker who can do everything that he does, that Westbrook does without the stupid moves. He's a terrific playmaker. And the two keys that have really stood out so far for me, one is experience versus youth. The other is defense. The experience youth factor was fascinating coming in. And what I'm reminded of is the teams that don't have experience, they can get into situations where they get off their game. They get sidetracked. They lose focus for a little bit. I remember Dallas back in 06 finals. Remember, they were up 2-0. They were up big, 15 points in the fourth quarter of Game 3. They started getting out of their game, slowing the pace down. Miami came back and won. We saw it last year with the Heat. They were up 2-1 in the finals. But if you remember that Game 2, they really blew it at home. They were up late in the fourth quarter, started taking threes. Well, I saw the same thing in this series with Oklahoma City in Game 1. They were up 72-61. Started to settle for the long shot. They went through a stretch where they got cold. Spurs stuck to their game. Their fundamentals came back and blew them out. And the other thing is the defense. This Oklahoma City team on paper has been pretty good defensively, and they have the talent. But, my God, they gave up 39 points in the fourth quarter. And then the Game 2, they gave up 37 in the third. Where is this Oklahoma City defense we've heard so much about?
Well, you know, they're shooters first. And when it comes to playoffs, you know, the teams that control the ball, like that's why the Heat have been so successful, because their defense is smothering. But, you know, this San Antonio team is so savvy. They are deep. They know how to win, and they're so composed. You said it before, how Oklahoma City will let a couple of minutes go. That doesn't happen with San Antonio. We saw it happen with the Pacers, and we saw it happen with the Celtics, who I have a great regard and respect for, by the way. But it doesn't seem to happen with San Antonio, where they can go through 4-6 minute lapses of just total disarray and total incompetent play. They are very, very experienced, and they're very deep. And they're going to be very tough to beat. Now, Oklahoma City, one of the problems they had in Games 1 and Game 2 is they're a great shooting team, and they only shot 42% in each of those contests. Now, those contests were on the road. And, you know, San Antonio's playing tough defense. I think Duncan just passed and had the all-time block leader for playoff action. But I think at home, the Thunder offensively are probably going to be a little bit sharper. They're going to be more comfortable. And I expect to see them with a lot of energy next time out. But then again, this Spurs team knows how to play. 20 wins in a row, 10 in the playoffs. So it's still going to be a great matchup, and I'm looking forward to this contest.
You know, I'm going to steal some stuff here from Hubie Brown, who, by the way, he's like the best analyst I've ever heard in any sport. He really is.
He's excellent.
What he knows out there is incredible. So he's trying to explain what San Antonio's doing offensively that basically doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't really matter who's playing defense. Good luck. Good luck stopping it. They run something with these staggered screens, and they've got the ability to turn the corner so fast that there's just no way to defend. And what's happening is they're forcing guys to chase them all over the court. And of course, you have to execute that and then hit big shots. And we see in Game 2, Oklahoma City's making a run in this game in the fourth quarter. They've got it down to 10. Actually, they've got it down to 7. Excuse me. They've got it down to 7. With about 4 minutes to go. And the shot clock's down. It's almost gone. There's 2 or 3 seconds left in the shot clock. And all of a sudden, they've got this play running. Here's Ginobili, turns the corner, and he just nails a 3. And that's the end of the game. That's the end of the game. That was it. You can, at that point, start the car and go out to dinner or whatever you're doing after the game, because the game was over at that point. And what I've been hearing in the subsequent post-game analysis from the non-basketball people who think they know basketball, Skip Bayless and people like that, is how it's Oklahoma City's fault defensively that this is happening. And basically what Hubie Brown's saying is when a team is running their offense at this level and executing and passing the ball like San Antonio does, there's not a whole lot you can do defensively. They're just that good. San Antonio right now is playing at an incredible level. I think Oklahoma City is a really good basketball team. From a handicapping standpoint, I look at this and say, you come back with the Thunder in Game 3. You got to. I mean, it's a must game. They're on their home court. The crowd's going to be really fired up. It's almost impossible to keep winning this many games in a row. I mean, 20 in a row at this time of year, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. And yet, I got to tell you, I have a real difficult time convincing myself to actually put money on Oklahoma City at this point. I think I'm probably going to be looking more at the total in Game 3 because I do think you're going to see another fast-paced basketball game. We've seen basically the last 5 quarters have been at a breakneck pace. Oklahoma City's going to execute their offense better on their home court than they did on the road. I'm pretty convinced of that. And the flip side of it is good luck, again, trying to stop a San Antonio offense that's completely in sync right now. If you're thinking these are the old Spurs, workmanlike fundamentals, kind of boring, you obviously haven't been watching. They are the most exciting team in the league to watch. I don't think there's any doubt about that because of they play at a very high speed and they execute things. They're not run and gun, but they're certainly pretty damn close to it. So I'm looking more at the over in Game 3. I'll continue to look at it to see if there's a side that pops out to me, but right now there's not. Before we get to the halftime,
a couple of spread trends to keep in mind for this series as it moves to Oklahoma City. The road team is 9-5 against the spread the last 14 meetings, and the Thunder haven't really matched up well, just 3-8 against the number the last 11 meetings.
Ooh, good stats. All right, listen, we're going to take a look at Games 3 and Games 4, what we expect in the Miami-Boston series as it shifts up to the hub. But before we do that, we'll get to our halftime, and we're also going to hear from Jim Feist. In fact, we'll do that right now. It's our Man on the Street piece that we do each week. Let's check in with Jim Feist, who's got his playoff game of the year about to take place. Jim?
Thanks, Dave. The only thing hotter than the Vegas Strip is me. The whole country was on the Pacers last week in Game 6, but I had a high roller release on the Heat and the over the total. The night before, it was a high roller platinum on the 76ers as they toppled Boston. I lost with the Spurs on Sunday on that last second shot. Broke my heart, but cashed Monday with the Miami Heat over Boston. That was all part of a 13-5 NBA playoff high roller run. I'm stepping up again with an NBA Game of the Year on Thursday. $45 online, but you can get it for just $20 at 1-866-841-1655. Along with a guarantee, you will win or get the rest of the NBA playoffs and baseball for free through the All-Star break. 1-800, that's 1-866-841-1655. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks, Jim. It is our halftime discussion. If there's any subject you want to know about, if you follow us on Twitter, just send a direct message. We'll get it. Twitter at Jim Feist Sports. You can also follow me there at Dave Cokin, DaveCokin. It can get interesting when I've got money on a game and I'm on Twitter. Some people have told me that it's entertaining to follow me. So, I don't know. I guess I get a little bit out of hand at times. So, check that out. Go to Twitter. Follow us, Jim Feist Sports and Dave Cokin. Do you have Twitter handles as well? Chip, are you on there?
I do.
What is
I don't do much with it, really. I'm doing more on Facebook. But I imagine when we get around to the football, I'll be more involved. But right now, I'm spending most of my time surfing.
All right. I like Twitter. For one thing, it's the best news source there is. And the other thing is that it limits me to 140 characters. So I actually have to be concise, which in my case is sometimes not easy. Okay. Anyway, if we use your question on the show, you'll be putting a drawing to win $100 worth of plays free from any of the handicappers. We have a question this is from Greg Billings, who, by the way, is from Amarillo, Texas. With the top pitching staff in the AL and the top offense, are the Rangers a shoo-in for their third straight World Series? And are the young Orioles for real? Those are good questions. I wouldn't say anybody's a shoo-in because, anything can happen in a playoff series. But if you're asking me who the best team in baseball is, I don't think there's any question. It's the Texas Rangers. They are flat out loaded. Pitching's good. Bullpen is deep. The offense is absurd. And the defense is very good. I mean, and by the way, they've won 2 American League pennants in a row. So, anybody better than they are? I don't think so. Let's put it this way. They're the favorite in any series against any team in Major League Baseball. So,
right.
Not a shoo-in, but definitely the favorite. Any arguments?
Well, they get beat by St. Louis and the San Francisco Giants, 2 clubs that no one really expected to win the World Series. And you said it. They can be the number 1 seed. They can have the best record and be the best team. But baseball, things happen comes playoff time, and defense and pitching wins. And I think they're the best team. I think it might be their time this year. But anything can happen out there. We got to see what happens in August and September. Maybe the Yankees and Red Sox will make a run. I don't think so. But
John, what about the young
looks like
Orioles?
The best, without a doubt.
John,
I don't see the Orioles lasting. I mean, they got some good arms.
Oh, yeah, and they'll move Feliz back to the bullpen when he gets off the DL, by the way. And now they signed Roy Oswalt, which, he's not the great Roy Oswalt anymore, but he's still a pretty good Roy Oswalt. So everything's going right for them. John, how about
with Texas? Oswald's a great pickup because of adding more depth. Texas is remarkable. I would agree with you guys that they are the team to beat. It's kind of a down year as far as competitive balance in the AL. The AL Central is kind of a good example where Cleveland's doing very well and everybody's kind of in the middle of the pack. But what's remarkable about Texas is, you look at the last 10 years, teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox, offensively, were always in the top 3 and 5. Not only their talent, but the ballpark that they play in helps. And the downside of that is the pitching staff can suffer when you play in small parks. Well, Texas also plays in a small park, and their offense is outstanding again this season, but their pitching is tops in baseball, tops in the American League, and that's just unbelievable. You don't see that very often. So the move that they made with letting Wilson go, I thought that was I was critical of that, but this kid Darvish is the real deal. He's an outstanding pickup. And their depth isn't suffering at all. So absolutely, this is they may make it the 3rd consecutive World Series.
Well, let's talk about the other half of that question, which was about the Orioles. They have had a heck of a start to the season, and Buck Showalter's obviously making a big difference there. Are they for real? Yes and no. The yes in that this is a talented young team, and with the signing of Adam Jones, the extension of Adam Jones, they've got their best players now locked down, like mostly till 2015 and 16. I think they're probably a year or 2 away, but Dylan Bundy and Manny Machado are on the way, and these are 2 real key pieces. If they work out, the Orioles are going to be serious contenders. I mean, really serious contenders in 2013 and beyond. Machado is a shortstop. He's putting up okay numbers, but factor in his age. He's only 19 at Double-A. Don't get caught up in the Bryce Harper stuff. It's not normal for somebody 19 to be in the majors, let alone Double-A. Bryce Harper would still be the youngest player in Double-A right now if he was there. So Manny Machado is coming hard. And Dylan Bundy, he just got promoted from Double-A, from Low-A to High-A. In Low-A, he faced 99 batters. His ERA was 0.00. He had 2 walks and I think 40 strikeouts. He's last year's first-round pick, whatever he was, 4th or 5th overall. He's fast track. He'll be in the majors by next year. He's that good. So, and then you have Adam Jones. Markakis is a solid player. Some decent young arms. They're coming. And they're finally taking the right approach. This is how management is the key to everything. It's got nothing to do with market size. It's got everything to do with how your organization's run. They've got baseball people in charge now. And Dan Duquette actually, he got roasted for years because of the twilight of his career comment on Roger Clemens at the tail end of Clemens' stay with the Red Sox. Then Clemens, of course, went to Toronto, and the Yankees had some great years. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, because he was sticking a needle in his butt. Regardless of how that trial turns out, we know that's what he was doing. So it was phony. And Duquette kind of got run out of baseball. He's not the most electric personality out there. Okay, he's kind of I'm not knocking him. He's just not, he's not the most effervescent personality you'll find. But the guy knows his baseball. And he's doing some really good work there. The Orioles, I don't think they're going to hang in this year. I don't think they're good enough for the long haul this season. But better days are definitely arriving for the Baltimore Orioles.
And it's about time after a decade where they seemed to be in last place all the time. I still think they're about a year away, and the AL East is very much wide open. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tampa Bay with that pitching step up there and take it, or even the Yankees are getting hot if they can get Chip in the rotation along with some other veteran arms.
Hey, John, the Yankees are aging right before our eyes, and so are the Red Sox for that matter. And Showalter, I think, is a big difference with the Orioles. Let's put it this way: their better days are in front of them, whereas those other two clubs, I think, are have to make some major changes soon.
Well, as much as
you're wearing that Patriots because you're switching allegiance to joining us. It's about time.
I don't think so. I think I've seen 4 Super Bowl champions out of New York now, and I'm looking forward to 5th this season.
Listen, look, I can't stand the Yankees. I love the Red Sox, but when it comes to analyzing this stuff, you got to be real. The Yankees organization is in way better shape than Boston's. The Yankees have a ton of prospects, and I think they're in a little down period right now. But, it's not a guarantee all these prospects are going to work out. But what they've got is plenty of depth to deal for talent, or the prospects on the way work out and they become strong that way. What I also think is that the Yankees, after sitting out last winter, are going to make a huge push. And I think they're going to make a big push for Josh Hamilton, to tell you the truth. I got to tell you something. I think they're going to throw the big money at Hamilton. Wouldn't surprise.
I'd love to see that.
I understand it's New York City, and he'd have to be under surveillance, if you will, 24/7 because of his issues. But can you imagine him in that ballpark? A left-handed hitter with that power in that park, in center field, they can move him over to left field because they got Granderson to patrol center. It's scary. And believe me, the Yankees are going to make a run at somebody this winter. The Red Sox, they have some problems in their organization. They traded away a bunch of players, and their best talent right now, especially with Middlebrooks, is already with the big club. There isn't really anybody at AAA and maybe not at AA who's a stick-out. They do have some good young talent, but it's all down to the lower end of the organization right now, and probably isn't, maturation date 2014, 2015, that's for a rival. So I think the Red Sox are in some trouble. And I hate to say this, I really do hate to say this, but I think that part of the problem is that John Henry is focused more on, Liverpool or Arsenal or whatever team he's got over in soccer. That's where the focus was this winter. I I don't like cross ownership, dual ownership. And I actually, it's like, dude, if you're gonna put that much attention and resources into the soccer team, please sell the baseball team. He's been a great owner, but it's like pick one, because these dual ownerships never work out. It's always one side or the other getting most of the focus and most of the dollars as well. These guys are all businessmen, and that's really important to remember. Well, the Red Sox are such a good business enterprise. They're going to keep selling out regardless, and their merchandising is going to stay strong regardless. It looks to me like he's pouring more money into the other outfit right now for that stuff, and that bothers me as a Red Sox fan. So I wish you'd make up your mind, John, or just screw the soccer team and you've boosted their value, sell them, and keep the Red Sox. Anyway, let's get back to some basketball. It's the Heat and Celtics heading to Boston for games 3 and 4. Look, I know LeBron James has pulled disappearing acts in the past in some big games. I'm not going to argue with those who can point to specific games and say, he wasn't exactly big in the clutch. But, jeez, is he playing at a ridiculous level right now? And, I just feel like he's an express right now. I mean, this guy there's nothing the Celtics can do to slow him down. Wade is awesome. And the Celtics are really old. I don't think they're going to get swept on their home court. I don't think Miami's going to go in there and win 2 games. So I'm probably looking to get involved with the Celtics. But, Paul Pierce looks a little bit like he's got a piano on his back at this point. Ray Allen, he looked more like Woody Allen in the first game of that series in Miami. He sucked in that game. He was totally unathletic. And really, if you'd have put the red hair and glasses on him, Garnett is fine, but he's not the best player in the court. The 2 best players in the court play for Miami. I just don't see a way for Boston to win this series, Chip.
I don't think they can win it either, and I think Ray Allen's the key here. It looks like physically, I don't know if he's up to it anymore. I mean, this guy's missing free throws. He's a career 90% free throw shooter. And, out of Connecticut, I love the guy his entire career. I think he's one of the great players and definitely a Hall of Famer in NBA history. Garnett's been spectacular, and losing Bradley doesn't help the Celtics at all. But to me, it comes down to this oppressive Miami Heat defense that they keep putting on him. And, Garnett came out. He was hot as a pistol in the first quarter in game 1. And what did they do? They stuck LeBron James on him, and all of a sudden he wasn't getting the same shots anymore. And I had said that if it comes down to Oklahoma City and Miami, I would play LeBron James head up against Kevin Durant and take my chances.
Yeah, when I look at the games 3 and 4 this weekend, at first glance, Boston coming home, you might get a chance. They might slow the pace down, get behind that great defense, and it's the last stand for the old guard, let's face it. However, I can't back Boston this weekend. I'm having a hard time. And the reason is health, injuries, and depth. I mean, Avery Bradley, very valuable guard off the bench. He's done for the season. Paul Pierce has the knee problem. In the past, they would put Paul Pierce on LeBron. Now, he wouldn't shut him down, but he played very well against LeBron. Played a physical game, make LeBron work. It hasn't happened this series, and it hasn't happened this season. Game 1, 5 of 18 shooting, Pierce was. It's clear that knee is bothering him. He's getting old, and LeBron is just in a different zone than anybody else. And then you mentioned Ray Allen with the ankle problems. So the lack of depth is killing this team. And more important, like Chip said, when Miami brings that great defense, that tires the team out. And Boston, without that depth, in the second half, they are much more likely to wilt. So I would look at Miami in the second half, and even under the total in the second half, as I don't see how Boston can have any scoring in the second half as they're shooting all these jump shots and they're tiring out and lack depth.
Well, that pace, listen, for the Celtics, I think, the way I'm looking at this, for the Celtics to win, they got to have the game in the 70s. It's going to be like a college basketball game, grind. They're not pretty to watch. They're not going to out-athlete Miami. Miami's just better athletically. So, you could literally have games in the 150s. That's the way I'm looking at it. And I think the total, for me, is more attractive than the side, just as I mentioned in the other series. And I think I'm probably going to look to be on the under, at least in Game 3, because of that. Look, Boston cannot win if this game is in the 90s, or even maybe in the 80s. I don't think they can, unless they have an extraordinary shooting day, because they have no chance in a running game against Miami. So they've got to slow it to a crawl and hope they can influence Miami to play at that pace and then get lucky, which they might be able to do. I mean, this is a team of really smart, cagey veterans. Doc Rivers is a great coach and a great game coach. So maybe they can do that. But to me, that's, just hope it doesn't go in double overtime or something, and look at the under in the series. And I think that's the way to go. John, it sounded like
keep in mind that keep in mind the Miami Heat 36-17 and 2 run under the total. They've been an under team for a while. And when you look at this Boston team, look at the playoff series they played already. 6 games against the Atlanta Hawks and 7 against the number 8 seeded Philadelphia. How healthy and good is this team really?
No, they got through Philadelphia on their experience. Philly was the better team in that series. I think the Celtics managed to find a way to beat a young team on their experience. But if you looked at the athletes on the floor, that was a young basketball team with lots of energy that just didn't know how to do it. In Philadelphia, they'll be enriched for the experience. They'll be a better team next year. The Celtics, it's been a great run. They got a ring. They probably would have gotten a second one had Kendrick Perkins not been out for that final game against the Lakers. I think most people will agree with that. They had a big lead in that game. So it was a really good run, but it's over. And I don't know what they're going to do at this point because, you can't – I know there's less guys in the basketball roster, so you think it's easy to rebuild, but I'm not sure it is. And it looks like the Celtics may have to go through a strip-down period. Let's close it out with letting everybody know once again what's available. My window plays, these are extremely important plays for me because, obviously, if you're going to charge $500 for a play, you can't afford to, you better win most of them, or you're not going to retain much of a customer base. And the idea is not to get people in for one shot and then say goodbye to them. You make your money in this business from repeat business. That entails winning. So the window plays have been very, very good. They continue, even though I've kind of evened out a little bit over the last few weeks. The window plays have stayed hot, so I'm pretty happy about that. They're online every day for $500 a piece, and I understand that for the whopping majority of people watching right now, that's like, what? There's no way I can buy that. Here's something you can buy. Get a full week of these, 7 days of my window plays, and unless it's a really short day where I don't have anything, you're going to get one every day. So you're looking at 6 or 7 plays over the course of a week. $20 total for the whole week of window plays. And these are big plays. 1-866-841-1665. That's 1-866-841-1665. Chip, huge Monday to start the week. Heat, Tuesday, Spurs, Megabucks winners continue. Keep it rolling, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. Coming off a 3-0 Tuesday as well. NBA releases now 20 and 8 in the last 28 selections. Megabuck plays the big selections at 72%, 13 and 5. Going to give an entire week of Major League Baseball and the NBA plays for only $20. And this includes my big time Megabuck winners, 1 Megabuck parlay of the month and 1 Megabuck NBA playoff game of the year at 866-899-9462. Dave, like I said before, they were the big-time players, the big games, and the big money are on the line. We step up, and now's the time to get involved. So give me a call. It's only $20 for 7 days of big-time winners. 866-899-9462. You'd be glad you did.
And, John, Jim has a monster play going. This is the big one. The NBA playoff game of the year is here.
Yeah, Jim is on a 13-5 high roll run in the NBA playoffs. It's been great. He's stepping up Thursday with his NBA playoff game of the year. It's $45 online, but you can get it for $20 with a guarantee at 1-866-841-1655. You will win with this play, where you get all of his plays in the baseball and the NBA right through the baseball all-star break. $20, 1-866-841-1655.
Anybody get closing thoughts?
Let's win.
WIN is right.